welcome back to another episode of Politics. And today I will be discussing another potent ruling on an abortion-related matter. And this time we are seeing that a local Texas judge, has ruled against an abortion pill called the mifepristone, and this is a massive ruling, which I expect will reverberate throughout the country as certain groups, organizations aim to sue and prevent this ruling or from going ahead. But essentially, to provide some context, what happened is that just a few days ago, a judge in Texas ruled against the FDA's approval of an abortion pill, which means that its approval was blocked. And this is a large matter because obviously we had the Roe versus Wade case overturned last year. So this abortion pill ruling is another blow to activists who were hoping to allow for alternate methods, such as pills like these, to foster abortions. But as we're seeing with this ruling, uh, we are seeing an increasing level of action and opposition to abortion, which poses a major problem for activists and is a real talking point across the country as events like these occur. But of course, we cannot ignore the underlying politics, which is that, of course, this judge came from Texas, which is a state that has notoriously been a Republican stalwart. And what that means is that this judge most likely made a political based decision. Now, I am not in any way, shape, or form saying this is a necessarily bad decision because both parties do this. And of course, every single judge has their own set of values and principles, which they use to make rulings. And obviously, for all judges, they are not perfect, so they will, of course, have some decisions and rulings that are motivated by political uh, motivations and factors. However, we cannot ignore that most Democrats will probably interpret this ruling as a politically motivated sanctioning of a method for abortion. And what that means is that Democrats will, of course, be very quick to fault Republicans for this, and they will be very quick, as this article explores, to challenge the Texas abortion pill ruling. Because this is a very meaningful issue for them, and part of their 2022 electoral success with the midterm elections was demonstrating to the country that they were advocates of abortion and were fiercely opposed to restrictions like these, which really harms people's rights to have an abortion. And I think that in the coming days, we will be seeing uh, a litany, an onslaught of cases and trials, a barrage of legal challenges, and Democrats, just as Republicans tried to get Roe v. Wade overturned, Democrats will try and get this ruling overturned because they view it as a breach of women's freedoms and rights, and it also, as I will explore now, stands directly in contrast to a ruling from the Federal Drug Administration, or the FDA, which is a very interesting point, actually, because just as I mentioned in my last video about water restrictions, this represents a direct conflict between federal and state factors. I mean, we have a federal pill being approved by a federal organization, the FDA, and then we have a solitary judge from Texas block this ruling. So this is kind of a counterexample of a ruling made by a Republican that goes against a federal, uh, or I should say, a most likely Republican leaning judge against a federal agency that sanctioned or that approved this pill. And it's just another example, one of the numerous examples of how this there is a massive conflict in this country about whether federal factors or state factors, such as the judge's ruling, should be principally behind uh, the decisions we make as a country. And I think the results of these past two videos I've made show that Republicans are largely on the side of state individualized, decentralized decision making, while Democrats are on the larger scale and are thinking more about federal decisions and the federal government and federal agencies, and they believe that has a higher priority. So, this abortion pill is not only a massive cultural issue and a huge blow for Democrats. Of course, they will challenge it, but is also another key example of just the extreme we've reached, where we have an approval by a federal organization coming into direct conflict with a state judge. And I am fascinated to see the outcome of this trial and see whether the federal agency or the state judge will prevail. Because I think that answer can tell us largely about our nation when it comes to which really, in a court of law, has more precedents, federal rulings, or state rulings. And of course, this has so much meaning for so many people, and I am just fascinated to see where it goes. And really, this is a very prominent issue now in American society, is the issue of abortion. And one final point, we saw how abortion and the overturning of Roe v. Wade harmed Republicans in 2022. So who knows? This could be alternative fuel to the fire that really invigorates Democrats once more. And who knows, that judge in Texas, if he is Republican leaning after all, may come to regret this ruling if it does indeed drastically harm the Republican way of thinking and ultimately pave the way for Democrats to be elected to office in order to reverse these changes made by Republicans in the cycle of American politics we have seen so many times. So that is my summary of this crazy scenario we have been seeing in the past few days, kind of an extension of the Roe versus Wade overturning, and I am just fascinated to see where it goes from here. So, everyone, enjoy your day. I will see you in another Polytalks video. Thank you for now. Bye.